Hey everybody, welcome to the next in my series of fantastic interviews. So thank you to everybody who's been watching so far, and thank you for those who continue to watch. So today I'm going to be interviewing Tiffany Pye, the hypnotherapist and life coach. She's going to be joining me here in a second, and then we'll jump right into her introduction. Just takes a second for them to load. For those of you who are watching, go ahead and drop your first name and your location in the comments. Hey, Tiffany.
Oh, hi. You said my name right.
How else would you say it?
I know, right? But some people just, I don't know.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I know. For me, people generally get my first name right, no problem. But my last name, which is spelled and pronounced exactly the same way, Montis, I guess some people think maybe it's French and they say Monty, particularly here in Canada. I get a lot of Monty. Or I've had some people have actually thought I was Spanish and they call me Montez, which is interesting. But anyways, I digress. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the interview series. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And you get the award for popping in faster than any other guest. Usually there's this like awkward moment at the beginning of the live where I just have to fill time before the guest pops in, but you were like right in there, right at 12 o'clock. So I really appreciate that. Off to a good start. So go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody who's watching that may not know you yet. There's already a bunch of people on. So who are you? What do you do? And so on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Tiffany J. Pye. I am a hypnotherapist, life coach, singer, writer, poet, a bunch of things. And I have the company Mellow Vybes, and it is really just about helping people to achieve that state. And that's kind of where I live. I think since I was little, my mom always called me a mellow baby, so that's where that name came from. And so people like will just like my friends will call me up when they just want to like calm down. So like I think I give people that vibe and that peace. And so that's what I want to help people achieve through through practicing hypnotherapy and coaching and stuff like that. So
Very cool. And you're a multi-talented individual. Your bio is quite impressive. So I know you do life coaching. I know you do hypnotherapy. I know you're the place that people go and they want to, as you say, relax, feel those vibes. But tell me about some of the other stuff that you do. You have a book out. You have albums out. Is that right?
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, I've always been a creative individual, and that was always like the main thing I did was poetry and music. And so actually that's kind of where like the hypnosis came in, because although like I always instinctually did those things, the writing and everything, I was so scared. Like I had stage fright. I had all these, I felt so weird about like sharing these things that were personal. And so that's kind of where I got into hypnosis when I was like 12 and started hypnotizing myself to go out and audition for stuff and to just like show up. And so that's why I'm able to like now put things out, because I feel confident in that since I've done a whole bunch of self hypnosis. So yeah.
Hey, very cool. So you started using self-hypnosis when you were 12 years old. That's incredible. How did you find out about it? How did you did you have a parent or a friend or something that got you onto it, or like how did that happen? Because most people don't discover the benefits of hypnotherapy until their 30s or 40s. That's the average age that people are getting into it. So 12 years old. How'd that happen?
Um, I honestly, for someone who remembers like 98% of things that's happened to me, I honestly don't remember that part, but I'm gonna assume it's my brother, because my brother, he's like 5.5 years older than me, and he's always been into like different things and like metaphysical. And I remember I started reading this aura book about how to read auras because he was reading it. So I'm gonna assume it was my brother who got me into hypnotherapy. Um, so yeah, and I started really just making myself hypnosis tapes and things like that, after school, and I would come home and meditate after middle school and do a bunch of different things. So
Wow,
yeah.
that that is so cool. That is, I would say that's advanced for somebody who's between 12, 13, 14 years old. But, the beautiful thing about hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that it's accessible to anybody. Anybody who's willing to participate in the process can enjoy the benefits, whether it's a self hypnosis and creating their own recordings, or with a practitioner like yourself, with a hypnotherapist. And so how did you sort of evolve from, being somebody who used it for self benefit? When did the shift occur where you were like, okay, it's time to bring this gift to the world and help other people?
So that was really just like a year and a half ago. I had been doing, I'd gotten into like coaching and stuff after many years of resisting that. And then the hypnotherapy, it was, I guess, just divine timing. I had kind of um, forgotten that I did that it was just something that I did for myself. But then I kept seeing different shows and different documentaries that I was watching that would talk about hypnotherapists and doing hypnotherapy. It was like four different things within the span of a week. And I was just like, oh yeah, like I should really, I should really like do this and get certified and all that stuff. So I did.
Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to get certified as a hypnotherapist? Because a lot of people are. I did a different live interview this morning. Somebody was interviewing me, and lots of questions about people, wanting to know what's that process like. How do you go from a normal person to hypnotherapy? And is it enjoyable? But my opinion is taking a hypnotherapy training with an expert trainer is one of the most fun things you can possibly do. But what was your experience like?
Um, so I guess it depends on like how you go about it. I did mine online with a hypnotherapist who's in Scotland, and it was actually the most fun thing I've ever studied. Like I had so much fun. I really um, wanted to make sure I was being intentional and taking it seriously, but it was just so interesting, and I would make sure that I practiced with a lot of people each thing I was learning, and it was really cool to see people's results while I was just in practice mode. And like I have a cousin who's a therapist, and she's my best friend, and so like I practiced probably the most on her, and she just thought like this isn't gonna work, and I know all these tricks and blah blah blah, and I do this, and she was just like, wait, this is so different, and I'm accessing all these things that I hadn't even thought of since I was little. And so, yeah, it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you talk about those like rapid shifts that we see in hypnotherapy, like even in short sessions. Can you give us some of the examples of like in working with people, or maybe it was in working with your friend, some of those shifts that you saw that just like to an outside observer, it seems like magic or witchcraft or something, but to a therapist, it's everyday stuff. Can you give us some examples of that?
Yeah, I've done multiple sessions with a few people, and I mean, there have been several people that I've only done like one or two sessions with because all of a sudden they've just it's just so cool to see like once you've taken someone through like a hypnosis and they open their eyes and just like they're like to see their face like they feel like completely different and like blown away, and they're just like, wait, I never would have even thought about like what came out from a session. um, and I've had someone that I worked through like for multiple sessions, like five or six, who totally changed in confidence, and every time like I see him, or he's now doing a whole bunch of live videos all the time, and if he sees that I'm on, he's always like, she's the reason why I can do that, because I was always so terrified. And and it's really cool to see like to see the difference in people, especially when it happens like so quickly. And like for that person, like he had been through like 3 years of traditional therapy and didn't get as much out of that. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's this quote that I've heard. I don't know if you've heard it, and I don't know if it's even true, but allegedly Freud, like back in the day, um, he started out actually as a hypnotherapist. Freud, he started a hypnotherapy practice, and he didn't like it, and then he created psychoanalysis, right? And around the time of him creating psychoanalysis, which evolved into, a lot of what is modern talk therapy these days. He's quoted as having said, my talk therapy will not be a treatment for the poor. It will take 100 to 300 sessions to affect any change. Again, I can't confirm or deny whether he said that, but I heard it from a reliable source. And I think that's still kind of, a lot of people have that expectation about, dealing with some of these problems that people have, that, if they're going to choose to deal with it, and a lot of people just suffer and choose to, swallow the problems or repress them however they can. But there's this misconception that, you go and talk to somebody and you're going to see them every week for many years and it might get marginally better. And I think a lot of people do, unfortunately, have that experience. And a lot of people have much quicker, better results with, psychoanalysis and traditional talk therapy. And then you have hypnotherapy, where it's like, I couldn't even imagine seeing one client for one problem, like, more than 6 times, let alone 100 times or 150 times. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, in terms of the speed that you see people making huge shifts in their life?
I love that about hypnotherapy, because for me, maybe it has to do with like always having a lot of responsibility. Like, I don't want people relying on me for something. Like, I want you to get what you need, learn how to manage yourself, and go about your business. Like, I'm not trying to take people's money for the rest of their lives. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to get help and learn how to manage yourself and your emotions and stuff. So I love that hypnotherapy moves that quickly, so you can help a whole bunch of people over the span of your life, instead of maybe working with the same people over and over again. So I love that about hypnotherapy.
Yeah. I was talking with another hypnotherapist a couple of weeks ago. She's an RTT hypnotherapist. And she gave me this beautiful metaphor. And she said, it's sort of like going to a dentist. If you have a toothache, you don't go to the dentist and talk about the toothache, and then the next week go back and talk about the toothache, and then the next week go back and talk about the toothache. You go to the dentist and they do a procedure. They, either remove the tooth or whatever they got to do, maybe give you some medicine to take with you. And next week you're fine. You're good. You're back to normal, right? And her point was, that's hypnotherapy, right? Like, get in, find the root cause, make change at the unconscious level, and let people go out and get the results that they want, right? As quickly as they can. And I think that, and that's one of the powerful things that draws people in with hypnotherapy, particularly, like, I love your story of using it for self, even as a kid, using it for self and getting so much benefit out of it. That, then you've made it now your business, you've made it your enterprise, which is amazing. And I think all good hypnotherapists have that same kind of story. They've changed their life. A lot of them started out as skeptics, and then they saw the changes in their own life, and then, went on to change the world. So, in terms of your hypnotherapy, are you doing mainly one-on-one work, or do you work with groups at all, or what is your business like? What kind of stuff are you putting out there?
Yeah, I mainly do one-on-one, but I do group hypnotherapy sessions through Bloom Healing Arts Academy, which is like it's a bunch of different instructors of different backgrounds, and we teach classes however many times a week that we are available. So I do group hypnotherapy sessions there as well, and that's just like, it's online. So my business has always been online. I think I saw one person in person one time. So.
Yeah. Well, that actually raises a good question. This is a question I've been getting a lot lately, is, what's it like being hypnotized online? How effective is it to be hypnotized online? And I have very strong opinions about this, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Obviously, your whole business, since you started it, has been pretty much online, and you're getting incredible results for your clients. So what do you think about from the client's point of view, what's it like, to see somebody online and to do this, revolutionary healing work, right?
Yeah, for me, I really don't think it's any different than being in person. If you can see the person. I've actually done some, well, this is while I was in training. So with the people I was like training on, I've done over the phone, like, so I didn't see them at all, and it was still effective. So I was skeptical at first about doing online sessions, not for myself, but before I even got into that, I had done a session with an energy healer, as like I was the client as an energy healer, and then she was in Australia. I'm like, how is this going to work over the computer? And like it did.
Yeah.
So so I think that removed a lot of my I guess skepticism of doing online stuff, because I've done online stuff and it's worked for me. So yeah, I really don't think it's that different, and I think it opens you up to see more people. Like I said, I've only seen one person in person that was here in my city, but everyone else has been, you know, in different states and a different country. Like, so.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. And that's my experience too. It's these days we know it's hypnotherapy is 100% as effective via Zoom or via Skype or even on the phone as it is, you know, in person. It's there's really no difference, which is nice, and which is why, you know, like in January and February, I was running live in-person trainings for my hypnotherapy and my NLP courses, and I've since then transitioned everything, even thorough in-depth NLP courses, which involve touching, you know, on the knuckles and all these different things, transitioned everything to online and haven't missed a beat. 100% success. Students are going out and getting the exact same results, great results as before. And so, you know, the proof is there. The proof is in the pudding, right?
Mhm.
So let me ask you, in terms of personal development for you, like, do you go to a hypnotherapist, or are you still doing self hypnosis? Like, what do you do to keep growing, you know, your own skill, your own results?
Yeah, I just do my own hypnosis. Um, I do a lot of, I guess, what I call self excavation, and am always like writing and putting things that I'm experiencing into the context of my life. And uh, I make time for that. It's like you have to make time. You have to make time for it.
Yeah,
I was just talking about that this past weekend with my uncles. It's like I have to make time for it, otherwise I'll get so busy doing other things, and I have to be able to check in with myself to make sure that I'm pushing myself as well and progressing. So.
that's that's a really intriguing way that you describe it. Self excavation. That's very cool. Can you talk a little bit more about what you mean by that? And like during this excavation, you know, what kind of stuff are you discovering?
So yeah, I let's see, I got into like probably doing this maybe like 10 months ago. Um, Weekly excavation, you know, is digging. So like digging into yourself. But the way that I do it is because I'm a poet, I do it with poetry. So I'll pick a random poem and I'll answer just questions about like, well, what is it that draws me to this? What does this have to do with does this have to do with anything in the context of my life? What am I getting from it? Like, I have like a bunch of questions that I'll answer, and it really allows me to write several pages about like things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of because of the subject matter of the piece or whatever. And so it allows me to really look at a lot of different things that aren't usually, I guess, in front of me in my life. And so it's been a really cool process, because I did that for several months, every single week. And then from whatever I journaled about, I wrote a poem from that every week. So,
Wow, very neat. Do you ever go back and read them?
oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
I do. I'm going to put it into a book. So,
Okay. Oh, right. And so what about your current self-hypnosis practice? Are you still, do you create like scripts and then make a recording and then just listen to it, or has it evolved at all from there?
yeah, I usually will create a script for myself and then record it. Um, there have been times where I haven't really created a script and I've just like, I guess, intuitively gone somewhere and then like recorded that, uh, like just pressed record and see what comes up, and then I'll play it back. This is really cool, and it was really helpful for me. So, um, yeah, I guess in that way it's evolved. Like I don't really have to write things down anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And um, the reason I ask is because, you know, a lot of people who are watching this are in that space where they've become aware of the unconscious mind, they've become aware of, hypnosis, they're seeing the benefits in other people, they're seeing it in your content, in my content, all that stuff, and they want to try it, but they're not yet at the point where they're going to hire or they're going to invest in a hypnotherapy session, or they're going to invest in a training, but they want to kind of get their feet wet. So what's your advice to somebody who wants to start experimenting with the benefits of self-hypnosis or hypnotherapy? How can they do that easily, from home?
Yeah, I mean, I think, anybody could write their own hypnosis. I guess if you would have to just focus on what it is specifically that you are wanting to work on, um, which is what I think is the difference between like meditation and hypnosis, because meditation is kind of maybe a broad overall something in your life, but hypnosis is like super specific. Um, and so I think just be specific about what it is that you are wanting to work on. Write down, uh, I guess maybe the limiting beliefs you have about that situation, and then write down what it is that you are, the end result that you're looking for, and then I guess write these things out and create a hypnosis out of it by, I guess, speaking the affirmative things that you are wanting to see within that specific situation. Um, that's, I guess, really how I started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, one of the ways, as you say, make a recording where you're talking about the stuff you want, leave out the stuff that you don't want, and then just listen to it, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, hypnotherapy is a great way to program the mind, and repetition is an equally great way to program the mind. And when we combine the two of them, there's an exponential increase in power that happens there. So if somebody comes up with a good recording that's reminds them of their goals, and programs in their goals, and they listen to it every day for a couple of weeks or a month, the chances of reaching success are much higher than if were they not to do that, right? It's a great, simple, underrated plan of attack that not enough people are doing. More people need to be considering what's going on in their head, what's going on in their mind, and how they can influence it for good, right? Instead of allowing it to just be programmed by whatever external forces are in their environment, right? So I want to ask you also, you've been a hypnotherapist offering services to the public now for about a year and a half. Is that right? And so how has your life changed since starting this incredible business? What are the benefits of being in this world as a practitioner?
I would say, I guess, meeting people and being able to explain hypnotherapy more, and um, yeah, just meeting people from all over who are interested, and explaining hypnotherapy, and always, I guess, well, maybe the kind of frustrating part is always having to be like, I'm not controlling you. You're not going to be barking like a dog.
Yep, not going to be clucking. Yep.
But yeah, how it changed my life is just like, I guess, being able to help people in a way that seems uh, like supernatural to me, I guess. So yeah,
Yeah.
because I just always loved doing it for myself, and it's just like, I don't know why I never thought about I never thought about it, before the last year and a half, helping other people with that. So
Yeah. But in terms of the day-to-day, I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, but in terms of the day-to-day life of like a hypnotherapist, like what's your life like? I take it you work probably from home. You have it looks like a very nice home office set up there. Um, what are your hours like? Do you work a lot of hours? Do you schedule stuff, to fit your life? Like, what's it like?
um, I guess it changes day to day, I suppose. I guess mostly I'm maybe working maybe like 3 to 4 hours, whether I'm making content for my website or whatever socials, and then doing a class, a group session or something.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe working in that space for a few hours, but then I because I try to break my stuff up. So then I'm doing a couple hours of like music, and then I do work for a software company. So then I do a couple hours for that. So yeah, it varies. And, it
Very,
varies.
yeah. The
Yeah.
point that really is that like you have a pretty great life, right? And a lot of it started with hypnotherapy back when you were 12, right? And whether you had chosen to become a hypnotherapist or not, those benefits of hypnotherapy kind of led you to this, in a way, led you to this path where you have this incredible like variety of experience happening in your world, and you have, to me, it sounds like time flexibility. You kind of decide how and when you're going to do what you're going to do, right? Which is such a lovely way to be and to live. And so, we talked about you got the couple of albums out, and music is obviously a very big part of your life. Do you feel like the music has an influence on your unconscious mind, on your subconscious mind, and on your greater results in life? Is that an avenue of moving around energy that you think has a greater impact?
Does the music have a subconscious? I would say, not. I'm like, yeah, have I ever thought about this question? Um,
Tough
I would
question, right?
say that, yeah. I mean, I would say like the work that I did influenced my music, which was interesting. Like my latest project is more of it's actually a lot of older material, but the EP before that was totally influenced by my work as a coach, and at the time primarily about like a self-love coach. And so that was totally different. The music that I made was totally different from anything that I've written before, because it was really just influenced by my work, and then learning how to you know the songs are about like gratitude and self-love and acceptance, which I had never written about that before, but like
Yeah.
in doing my work, that influenced my music. Um, so that was pretty cool. Um, yeah, but so my music's influencing my subconscious. I don't know. I think if I wasn't a musician, I would probably be unhinged with the
Oh,
kind of with
that's
the
a very
kind of
firm yes. If it weren't for the music, it'd be unhinged. Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That was always the way that I just was able to manage my emotions, where I felt like in spaces where I felt like I just really wasn't seen or heard. So that was the way that I got my emotions out. Um, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's a roundabout way to get to a very good answer. If it weren't for the music, I'd be unhinged. That says it all right there. Okay, so we're getting short on time. Is there anything that we haven't touched on yet that the world needs to know about you, Tiffany? Any other projects that you're working on you need to get the word out, or any advice for the world? Anything at all?
Well, I would say that so Mellow Vibes is really just me trying to help in the ways that I know how, help people to live the life that they want, an authentic life, and a fully actualized life. And I guess some people sometimes ask me what actualization is, and it's really just living out your potential. I never wanted to be someone who died with something left in them that I didn't use, that I had regret. Um, you know, yeah, I don't want any regret. I know there's a lot of programming where people tell you that you're not supposed to do these things, or you're supposed to, stick with the status quo. And that's why I used hypnosis when I was young, because I was always so terrified to share my stuff, because I was told only a few people make it, and why do you think you're going to be the one? Or you should just do something realistic. And that tortured me for so long. And so that's why my site is not, showcases, like you can have a hypnotherapy session, a life coaching session, but also like I have my music there. I have my articles there that I've written, my books, because this is all my stuff too. Like it's all of everything that's in me. And so I'm displaying that I am living that life that is fully actualized. I don't think I've left any of the things that I do out of my site, um, because this is the stuff that I'm passionate about, and I want people to do the things that they're passionate about and live their purpose. And so that's like the main thing
Yeah.
that I hope to get across and that I help people with because um, like the person I said who does all the lives now and all this stuff, he had such anxiety because of like family telling him that why is he doing this and why is he doing that. So working through those limiting beliefs and getting rid of all everybody else's thoughts and just focusing on what you actually believe for yourself. That's the main thing I want to help people with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very cool. And you make a very important point. Like as as a thought leader or a life coach or somebody who's out there with the mission of making the world a better place and helping people, one of the best ways of doing that is just being honest and setting a good example and showing people how you can live. And we, in sort of my school of NLP and hypno, we call it being your own best billboard, right? You go and you enjoy these benefits, they change your life, and then go and brag about it, literally, because then people can learn and see that change is possible. And if Ryan and Tiffany can use this stuff to like you reach their goals and live these lives that may to some people seem extraordinary, but they're totally attainable, right? We're just regular people that found great tools that led us down a great path, right? But anybody can follow in our footsteps, and by demonstrating what we're up to and being real and being honest and putting that all out there, like you with your website is phenomenal with your music and your articles and everything. That's one of the ways to do it, right? So good on you, and thank you for bringing that up. I just want to go through a couple of the comments here before we wrap up. Lots of high fives and thumbs up, and I get that always. Everybody who's watching live and watching the replay. Katie says thank you for sharing your experiences and advice. And Katie says she's very interested in hypnotherapy. Yeah, great thing to be interested in. I totally agree. And then it's another wonderful live. Thank you very much. And yeah, and you're welcome. And thank you to everybody. So for those of you who feel compelled to get in touch with Tiffany, there's going to be a link in the description on the replay of this video to her Instagram profile where you can connect with her. You can message her. Is there a link to your website on your Instagram as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And her Instagram, in case you can't wait to find the link, is at Mellow Vybes, right?
Mellow_vibes. Yeah.
Mellow_vibes. Yeah. If they search that, it'll come up. Any last comments before we log off for today, Tiff?
No, just thank you for having me. It's great talking to you. This is fun.
Yeah, thank you very much for being with me today. For those of you who are watching who don't yet know me, my name is Ryan Montis. I'm an instructor of hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming, and I do other cool stuff too. Follow me on Instagram. If you want to learn hypnotherapy, the next section of my training starts next week on Monday. Couple of spaces still open. Get in touch with Tiffany. Follow Tiffany. Follow me. Get in touch with me. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you again, Tiffany. Have a really great day. And bye, everyone.